Welcome to our somatic practice today. Today, this one is going to be focused on feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. And so, what I wanted to bring you today was another practice that can be done completely seated. When we did our clarity and confusion work, we did a standing practice. And so, I realized that sometimes we feel insecure, we feel like we are doubting ourselves in places where we might need to be seated the whole time, like at work. Okay? So we're going to focus today on some heart-centered breaths. We're also going to do some humming. So if you are at work and you can't make sound, maybe you move to the car for this one. And then we're also just going to do some posture work. I know I've brought posture work to you countless times, and that's because truly posture work is so profound. And if you haven't noticed this for yourself yet, I just want you today to notice what it's like to have feelings of self-doubt in the collapsed posture position when we're folded forward, what it's like to even breathe in that position, and then what it's like to unfold and be in the expanded and open position and have those same thoughts of self-doubt and insecurity. For me, it shifts something immediately in the body, in my brain, when I move from that collapsed forward posture into that expanded and open posture, and it's harder to believe the thoughts in my head when I'm in that expanded, open posture. The breath is also really different in my body. And so today I'm going to ask you to play with breathing in as you collapse forward. So it would be like, and out as you open. I'm putting all that out there. And then I'm also going to have you flip flop it. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. And just notice if one of those feels better for you, if one of them seems to activate the sensations in your body differently. I know which one I naturally gravitate toward, and I'll probably tell you that in the midst of the practice, but I'm not going to tell you now. Okay? So grab your journal. As I always say, the shift method, which is the foundation of this, since I make a huge mess, is 2 minutes of journaling, 3 minutes of breath work, and 4 minutes of movement. And again, today's practice you can do completely seated. Of course, you can also do it standing if you so choose. We are now 24 days into this. And so by this point, I really hope those of you who have just started at day one and moved through the 30 days are really starting to, and I should say, I hope this for everybody, but especially if you've been leaning on this for 3.5 weeks, what I really hope is that you're getting more in tune with what your body naturally wants. You're learning the language of your body. That truly is the point of this program. And so if today you have these feelings of insecurity and self-doubt come up for you and something else calls to you to do that, you have complete sovereignty. You have choice. So it is your decision what to do for these next 9-ish minutes. And I am just really grateful to get to guide you through this practice that you can follow along with, or you can choose something different as well. Okay? So as you journal, breathe, and move today, remember this, the acronym of SHIFT. Seek and scan for sensation, honor what comes up, inhale, flow, and then take stock. And so if you clicked on this because you're feeling super insecure and you've got a lot of self-doubt today, I really want you to scan for the sensations in the body of that. I want you to write anything that's coming up for you around that sensation, around that feeling, that emotion. And I just want you to honor what's there, right? Honor what's there. And then at the end, we'll take stock again so that you can notice if anything is shifted. Okay? Grab your journal. I'll play our music and we'll get started. All right. So putting the journal aside, again, focusing just on that heart-centered breath. And what I mean by that is just focusing as you inhale on imagining the breath really settling here in the heart space. That does not mean I want you to breathe into the chest. I want you to breathe into the belly, as always. But centering the focus there in the middle of the chest. And for me, it helps to just put a hand there. You can tap or rub, okay? Breathing on your own. In through the belly. As you inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, you can hum. Because I love the beat of the song, I'm this way as well. We sway and we rock and we hum to tone that vagus nerve, to signal to the body it is safe, that you can come back into your window of tolerance. Now for me, what was interesting is when I was scanning the body for sensations of self-doubt and insecurity, I felt it kind of as a lump in my throat and as a stickiness in the clavicle. And so for me, the humming really helps to clear that out. And so if you have felt it somewhere else in the body, you can focus on bringing the breath there. You can also try to play with the resonance and the tone of your hum, higher or deeper, to see if you can feel the vibrations somewhere else in the body. What I mean by that is when I hum at a higher pitch, I feel that very much here. And as I hum lower, I feel it go all the way down. Perfect. So noticing now if anything has shifted for you, you're still feeling those thoughts of insecurity and self-doubt. And what I want you to do is I want you again to start practicing the posture work as well as that chest opening breath. So first we're going to just collapse forward for a moment, curling the head and neck down, collapsing the shoulders, kind of curling in on yourself. And I want you to let those feelings of self-doubt and insecurity just be slightly present. Maybe you think of something that you had written down. Continuing to breathe. Now, as you inhale, I want you to unravel. I want you to open and expand. Shoulders come back and roll open. Chest is open and forward, almost a slight bend forward in the upper back, and that chest, chin, head slightly pointed up. Now you can also take your arms and either go straight out to the sides or come to the hips. But I really want you to focus on bringing that posture up. Maybe smiling. And again, let those feelings of insecurity and self-doubt be present for you. Did they shift as you moved through the body? Now you can collapse forward again, curling in. Yawns are a sign of moving things through the body. And as we sit back up, unravel, unwind, expand, and open. Notice if anything has shifted. Okay? So now what I want you to do is not super quickly, right? We don't want to hurt ourselves, but I want you to just on the inhale and on the exhale, move from one position to the next. And so whatever feels most natural to you first, I want you to do. So if it's an inhale as you collapse forward, do that. Exhale as you open. Inhale as you open. Exhale, collapse forward. Whatever it is for you, try that now. One breath for each movement. So inhale, move, exhale, move. All right, so that was 3 rounds for me. And as you saw, I inhaled as I collapsed forward and exhale as I come out. Now I'm going to do the opposite, and I want you to do the opposite as well. I'll come back up into seated straight up position. And I want you to take your arms out to the sides, hands up like goalposts. And I want you to move them in and out. So inhale, elbows touch. Exhale, open. Inhale, touch. Exhale, open. And of course, if they don't touch all the way, that's totally fine. Just bring them in. Breathing with sound as you exhale. Now switch it out. Keep the arms open. Inhale. Bring them together as you exhale. Inhale. Perfect. Let the arms come back down. Maybe roll the shoulders, give yourself a little bit of movement. And let's just take stock. How's the body feeling? I feel a lot warmer. I feel a lot more open and more fluid in the upper body. I'm just gonna feel heat and spiciness here. So for me, that kind of almost signals like those are sensations that I feel when I'm anxious. I don't feel very anxious right now, like I can't think of anxiety, but that is a sensation in the body that I notice when I feel anxious. So I'm just gonna do a little self-soothing for myself. And again, this isn't an example of taking stock and giving yourself what you need. And so what that might have been for me is because I did feel a lot of that doubt and insecurity here and here. Could have been energy sending itself to that space to sort of move that out and almost upregulated me straight out of it. But again, for me, that felt almost a little out of the window of tolerance, and that can happen, right? Sometimes you overshoot the window. That often happens for feelings of rage. You shoot so high up into activation and you already are activated that afterwards, if you do not close that circle and close that container, you can be left feeling very agitated and angry and upregulated the rest of the day, the rest of the week. So that's why if I ever lead you through a rage ritual or you ever work through anger, frustration here in these somatic practices, it is essential that you bring yourself back down with some type of soothing, some type of like a down regulation. I know we've talked about that in those days. And so now I'm noticing that I feel a lot better, feel a bit more in the window of tolerance. Yeah, I don't feel that spiciness in the chest anymore. Perfect. So one last thing I will say is that what you just noticed and witnessed was me dealing with a sensation in the body that wasn't super attached to an emotion. And That, my love, is like somatic healing 101. We don't always have to know what the sensation is leading us to. When you can really start to notice and get like intimate with the sensations in the body, you can soothe them before they transmit their shit to your brain and then put you into a spiral or make you feel triggered or make you think of something, right? And so that for me has been one of the best things, honestly, about the last 24 days. I myself, as a practitioner, have really been so much more in tune with my sensations and in my body. I needed that for sure after admittedly straying away from my own practice this summer, which summer is busy, right? Like summer is very busy. So what I just want to share that with you for, the reason I want to share that with you is because if you come across a sensation and you can't necessarily figure out what the emotion is, don't try to. You don't have to know the story of the emotion. You don't have to know what it is you're feeling. All you need to know is that something in the body is a sensation calling out to you that needs some type of attention. And that is really where you start to get so fluent in the language of the body. And as I said before, sensations build our emotions. 80% of our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings start as sensation in the body. We just happen to think they all start in our head because logically, and our brain is so smart, and that's where we put words to the sensation. That's where we intellectualize what's going on. That's why we think that our thoughts all live here, but in reality, they mostly all live here. Okay? So if you have any questions about this, please reach out. I'm so proud of you again for being here, for showing up, and I will see you in the next video.